Chapter 3. The Council. Torrin led the group back to their wagon and belongings. A slight fall breeze in the light of the lowering sun sent a cold gust through the air, blowing several orange and yellow leaves off their branches and onto the ground. "We were in there longer than I thought," Silas said out loud. "I told my mother I would be home before dark. We'd better hurry and get back."
"What were you doing in the crypt anyway?" Uthrin asked. "It's not a place for children, and how did you know it was even there?"
Silas told Uthrin about his plans for finding some old trinkets to sell to try and help their families financially. He also told him about the time that he, Torrin, and Samara had snuck out of the town and accidentally stumbled upon the cave. Purely dumb luck. Rumors of a cave housing the dark dealings of Arakorn had whispered through the town on occasion after the Council of Light had cleansed the crypt, but they never thought they'd actually find the place.
I see,"
Uthrin responded.
"I have a question for you,
Uthrin," Torrin corrected himself. "Samara said that you were in the Council of Light back in the day. I didn't believe her at first, but now that I saw what you did to get us out of the cave so fast, well,
it was awesome.
Do you think you could teach me how to do something like that?" "It's a lot harder than you think, Torrin," Samara butted in. "I've been trying to get that healing spell down all summer and still haven't quite got it right." Uthrin didn't answer. His mind looked fixated on something, as if he were pondering many difficult questions.
"I suspect," he finally said, "that I'll have the chance to teach all three of you how to use magic in the near future."
Torrin hooted into the air with a fist pump, but both Silas and Samara picked up on an air of uneasiness from the words of the old man. "Why would you need to teach us in the near future, exactly?" Uthrin placed a hand upon his wise, bearded chin.
"Finding that amulet is no small ordeal, Silas. Seeing visions is even greater, even more concerning to me. Melos must be stopped. His dark reign has gone on for far too long. There are mysteries in this world, things that you'd never even dream possible out there. He's destroying them, destroying the lives of countless souls, countless families as he enforces his rule. By finding that amulet, you may have unlocked the very key that is needed to stop him. I have a sinking suspicion that you will play an important part in ridding this world of his darkness. All of you will."
"Us?" Silas gulped. He exchanged glances with Samara and Torrin and found their expressions of confusion just as visible as his own.
"Yes," Uthrin continued. "The amulet that you hold is not some measly trinket, nor is the stone that sits in its center. No, the truth is far more spectacular. It's actually an ancient key."
"A key? You mean like a key to a door?" Samara asked.
"Yes, but not just any door. It's a key to the door. The door that hides behind it the power and knowledge that has been lost for over a millennium. It is a key to the Vault of Kings."
Silas thought that the name sounded familiar, but he couldn't remember why. "Wait, the Vault of Kings? Like the same one from the stories of the original 6 kings?" Samara asked in amazement. "Nah, no way," Torrin piped in. "That's just a myth. It's not actually a real place."
"It is indeed real, Torrin," Uthrin continued. "The original kings, as we call them, were the first to unlock the knowledge of using magic. 6 of them, each one dedicated to a different basic element: light, nature, air, fire, darkness, and water. They each focused on their own respective elements, mastering them to perfection. They taught what they learned to worthy followers, spreading the knowledge of magic and other secrets as well. Later, they uncovered the power behind the mystic arts we call combination magic. They learned how to create a wide array of truly spectacular and powerful effects. They showed many of their successors how to use magic, and even taught the more skilled how to do combinations, which has all been passed down from generation to generation. However, some things were not taught, and those secrets have been sealed away in the Vault of Kings. Secrets hidden from the world, which are said to give the one who knows them almost godlike knowledge and power. No one truly knows what mysteries lie in the vault, not even the royal bloodlines from the original kings." He paused for a moment, pondering something, then shook his head and continued. If Malos were able to get the 6 stones and unite them with the amulet to forge the key to the Vault of Kings, if he were the one to gain the knowledge of whatever it is that is hidden inside, it would truly be the end of Evandrel and the entire world as we know it.
And this is our problem now because... Torin started.
Because you snooped into places where you shouldn't have been.
Uthrin sighed and his voice softened.
It's no fault of your own. The Council of Light and I should have found it years ago. With the visions you saw, Silas, it makes my mind ponder. There are many unanswered questions that need to be answered. It's as if by destiny you have been called.
But we're just kids, Silas complained. What could we even do?
That's what we need to discuss with your families, and my trusted friend, Geode, Uthrin continued. There is a reason for all things. Our questions may not be answered now, but in time, the light will be shed upon all things. Now that the amulet has been found, something must be done about it. We can't just simply wait for Malos to find out and come take it by force. That would be sentencing the world to an imminent doom.
Silas's skin began to crawl with nervousness. It didn't help with the strange and formal way that Uthrin spoke either. It made everything seem so official. A slightly awkward silence overcame the group as they continued their way to the cart. It didn't take long to get back to the place where they dropped it off with their hurried pace, but all the while their minds were spinning, regretting having come out to the crypt at all. Silas was especially worried. Thoughts of him having to do something, anything that involved Malos put a knot in his stomach. Uthrin thinks that because I saw that vision, I'm going to be important in solving all of this. But I can hardly even remember what I saw. I can't do this. I'm not... His thoughts were stopped short at the arrival of their cart. Uthrin gave them instructions to pack everything up and follow him. Worried thoughts continued to dance through their minds as they pulled the cart back towards Shilverst, no one brave enough to break the silence. Torin was the first to find enough air in his lungs to ask a question. So, you did have a plan for getting back into town, right, Silas? Silas stopped walking. His face grew sheepish as he responded. I guess I forgot about that part. Are you serious? Samara said, shooting him a glare. Don't you think that's a little important? I'm sorry. I guess I was just so excited about going back into the crypt and having the possibility of helping out my family. I just forgot about the coming up with an idea to get back in.
Not to worry. I can get us back in the same way that I got out, Uthrin chimed in. You 3 had better think about your actions a little more carefully in the future, though. You must think things through, lest you find yourselves in inescapable situations.
His words continued to worry Silas. Was this guy actually for real? Did Uthrin really expect him to go on some grand adventure, to save the day? He wasn't up to the task. He was just Silas. Nothing extraordinary, not skilled, not anything. Uthrin instructed them to leave the cart. Silas's dad wouldn't be happy when he couldn't find it later, but it seemed the least of his current problems. Uthrin then instructed that they once again join hands. Excited at seeing another display of magic, the 3 of them joined hands with Uthrin. He made the strange symbol with his hands again, and a bright, warm yellow light began to engulf each of their hands and spread across the group. Once entirely engulfed in the light, another bright pillar descended from above, splashing onto them like a direct beam from the sun. Silas blinked his eyes after the light dissipated, mind blown to see that they were once again inside the town.
Find your parents, he instructed. Tell them it's quite urgent and that I sent you to do so. I'll get Geode. We'll meet at the old town center building and figure out the best course of action. Pray that the light be with us, to help us be guided.
Silas arrived at his home just as the sun was setting. A deep orange glow of sunlight filled the sky. Several thin clouds glowed bright pink as they floated just above the horizon. Sunbeams radiated out from behind the clouds, covering the setting sun and reflected off the window in front of the door to his home. Pausing for a moment to collect his thoughts, he took in a deep breath and walked through the door.
Cutting it a bit close there, eh, Silas?
He heard the stern voice of his father say.
Sorry, Dad, Silas said, looking towards his father.
He was sitting in a slightly broken wooden chair near the kitchen and had that look on his face. The look he always had when Silas got into trouble. But this time, he looked a bit troubled himself.
Your mom and I have something to discuss with you, he continued.
Actually, Dad, Silas said hesitantly, I have something that I need to tell you and Mom. It's about where I've been all day. We need to go to the town center building. Old Man Uthrin will be waiting there for us. A look of confusion crossed Thren's face. Did you get yourself into trouble again, son? He asked, raising his eyebrows. No, well, maybe. Not really, he sighed. It's complicated, Dad. His stomach rumbled, a mixture of both nervousness and hunger. Can I eat something really quick and then we can all go? Thren eyed Silas with fatherly concern. Sure thing, buddy. Dinner's on the table. You eat and I'll get your mother. Silas went into the kitchen and tried to calm his nerves with a bit of food. Potatoes again, this time with only butter as a topping. After eating, he walked into the main room of the house and saw his mother and father sitting together. His mother looked at him with worried eyes. What's this all about, Silas? Did you get yourself into trouble? Where were you all day? Reluctantly, Silas told his parents what he, Torin, and Samara had been up to. He spared them some of the details of what happened inside the crypt, especially his little tour through the darkness or whatever that was. Then he told them about how Uthrin had come and helped them to get back into the city. Silas then pulled the amulet out of his pocket where he had it concealed. This is the amulet, he said, looking at the trinket coldly. The deep purple light within the stone at its center swam eerily in a slow, unscripted circle. Uthrin thinks that because I found it, I should be the one to help figure out what we should do with it. That's why he wants us to go to the town center building and meet him. Thren stood up and took the amulet from Silas. He turned it over several times in his hands and looked into the black stone in its center. The purple glow reflected off the strong eyes of his father, almost seeming to whisper ancient secrets that couldn't be heard. I've heard stories about these stones, but I never thought they were actually true. We used to talk about them when I worked in the King's Guard. I've never heard of this amulet, though. A key to the Vault of Kings. Could it all really be true? Sensing the worry and anxiety that swelled within his son, he handed the amulet back to Silas and looked at Iriana. Let's go see what this is all about, then. Turning back to Silas and with a stern but loving fatherly voice, he continued, Everything is going to be okay, Silas. Let's go figure this out. A fatherly embrace came next, one that spoke without the need of words that all would be well.